Hi everyone, Angela here, and in this video I am going to be talking about the Saturn and Jupiter conjunction that is going to occur here in just a few days on December 21st, 2020. And I want to talk about these higher energies that this conjunction is bringing in. And I also want to talk about how it relates to the Great Awakening. I know many of us are experiencing challenges at this time because we are becoming aware of and realizing the dualistic nature of reality and the universe. Many of us that are willing to look and to see what is occurring at the present time on the planet are experiencing what is known as the Great Awakening, an awakening in consciousness. For those of us awakening, this is giving way to the evolution of our souls. This is a time of learning, growth, change, and transition. So let's talk about this conjunction for a minute, because it relates to duality and the perspective of karma and dharma, light and dark, limitation and expansion. It is the perfect combination of both, and this conjunction is the recognition and understanding of how they work together so that the soul can be propelled forward into a new reality, a new dimension. Also, this alignment or conjunction is happening in Aquarius, which happens to be the element of air, and the symbolism is the water barrier. This means that there is an opportunity for more awareness of the real self, true connection to inner authority, inner security, and it is giving us the ability to think, to contemplate, to have access to higher thoughts, truth, and to have access to infinite intelligence if we desire. It is knowledge that is accessed through the intuitive mind. We are moving into a new age, the age of enlightenment, the joining of heaven and earth. This time is giving way to the opportunities for sacred service, compassion, empathy, love, and care for one another. This is a time of possibilities. The first of these is the possibility to be able to fully align with our Dharma, which are our strengths and abilities. These are godlike qualities and characteristics, and those things that we have already made a permanent part of the self or soul. They are understandings that we have already built within ourselves, things we have learned, things that may have taken us many lifetimes to acquire. Our Dharma is also what we have to give to others or teach others. When we are in alignment with our truth, our higher selves, and are in connection with Source, we are able to live a life of Dharma. For example, my Dharma is enthusiastic grace. And according to an intuitive report I received, my Dharma is comprised of the understandings of unconditional love, compassion, and divinity. I will be sure to do a future video going into more specific details in regards to my Dharma. But if you are interested in receiving your own intuitive Dharma report, that information will be provided towards the end of this video. Also, during this conjunction, we are being given the possibility to have access to higher levels of energy and consciousness, which I touched on previously with this conjunction happening in the sign of Aquarius. This means that it is possible to live in all levels of mind. In other words, to live from the superpowers of the mind and not just the physical 3D reality, or what is also referred to as the seventh level of mind. This will make more sense if you identify with yourself as a creator and recognize you are more than just a physical body. Next is the possibility to let go of limiting ego identities, as well as release karmic chains and bonds, therefore making it easier to move through our limitations and to allow fulfillment to be a part of the self. We can do this by committing to our ideals, surrendering to our desires, and letting go of that which limits the process by allowing our passions and our truth to drive us, not our limitations. This is much easier to do when we create the space necessary to connect to our inner guidance system, that of which is strong and powerful. So therefore, this great awakening is giving us the chance to live a life full of Dharma, of expansion, truth, and fulfillment. Next, I want to cover some key things we can do to make this an easier transition. So one of the first things that we can do to make this an easier transition is to do the inner soul work or self-study. So prioritizing self-understanding. We can do this by utilizing the breath and focusing on bringing our attention upwards and bringing our attention inwards. This will assist in clarity, cleansing, healing, and wholeness. Also, be sure you are taking care of yourself mentally, emotionally, and physically. We also want to make sure we are doing the external work by focusing on giving to the development of others. The next thing that we can do is to listen, speak authentically, and create space for objectivity between each other so we can deepen our understandings of one another. Now, this one is equally important, and that is that we should not focus our attention on the polarization, i.e., black and white, good and bad, right or wrong, but instead commit to staying in a state of neutrality, objectivity, and equanimity, meaning calmness, as we move through this transition. This will help to heal the polarity, duality, and division. The next one is to surrender to the learning and breathe through the learning. This will aid us to be steady and steadfast in the face of challenges and difficulties, so we can move through this transition with ease and grace. So have the willingness to receive the learning versus resisting it. It is in the understanding that the universe only brings opportunities for our growth. The last one that I have is to pray. Pray for other souls to awaken. Do not judge or condemn those that are not yet awake. This also includes those in leadership positions. We need to pray for their hearts and minds to open and for them to awaken to their higher truth and to trust that this will aid them to lead as they should. And just a side note here, this was a bit difficult for me, so I asked the Spirit to pray on my behalf. If you are finding it difficult to do this as well, give this prayer to your spirit. The Lord's Prayer may also be helpful. It is important that we connect to our hearts, open our hearts, and give our attention to the consciousness of love. Today, I want to leave you with an affirmation. We are forgiven, we are forgiving, we are loved, we are loving, we are truth. We stand united in truth. Truth is our identity. Truth is who we are. It is important to understand that we are purging from this matrix that which is no longer needed for our learning or for the evolution of our consciousness, thus making room for something new. Everything here in this video has been given in my own way and from notes that were taken from a full report given by Akashic Resources. The report was titled Questions for the Universe, Portal Opening 2020. If you are interested in reading this full report or watching the video, receiving a personalized intuitive Dharma report, or other reports that they offer, you can find that information by going to their official Facebook page. Also be sure to check out their short clips on YouTube, Questions for the Universe.